are working intensively to secure two striker signings. That could ultimately clear the path for Alexander Isak to complete a record-breaking move to Liverpool. The Tyneside club are pressing hard to wrap up business before the transfer window shuts at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, with Eddie Howe determined to reshape his attacking options. Throughout the summer, Newcastle have endured setback after setback in their striker pursuit, with targets such as Liam Delap, Joao Pedro, Hugo Ekitike, and Benjamin Sesko all rejecting their advances in favor of other Premier League projects. However, this week has finally brought a breakthrough. Stuttgart forward Nick Woltemade has already touched down in Newcastle to finalize a £69 million switch that will stand as the club's biggest ever deal. But Howe isn't stopping there. The Magpies are pressing on with talks for a second forward, a move that looks certain to give Isak the green light for what would be a British record transfer to champions Liverpool. Brentford prepare for life after Newcastle's pursuit of Yoane Wissa has gathered momentum. Although Brentford remain reluctant to sell, the Magpies' £40 million offer last week was swiftly turned down, with the Bees unwilling to sanction his exit until a replacement is secured. Many assumed Dango Ouattara, signed from Bournemouth earlier this month, was brought in to fill Wissa's shoes, but Brentford have insisted that signing was to cover Brian Mbeumo's absence. Wissa himself is desperate to move to St James Park and has not featured in any of Brentford's games this season. Head coach Keith Andrews has already ruled him out of the trip to Sunderland, with the player determined to push for the transfer. Encouragingly for Newcastle, Brentford have tabled a £45 million bid for Borussia Dortmund striker Max Bayer, according to Sky Sports News. Dortmund are considering the offer, and insiders suggest they may agree to sell after recently bringing in Fabio Silva from Wolves. Should the deal go through, Wissa's entourage believe it will unlock his dream switch to Newcastle. Strand Larsen still on Howe's radar alongside Wissa. Newcastle remain very much in pursuit of Wolves striker Jørgen Strand Larsen, despite lodging bids worth £50 million and £55 million earlier this week. Both were knocked back by the Midlands club, who are reluctant to part with the Norwegian. Strand Larsen has already informed Wolves of his desire to link up with Howe at St James Park, but the message from Molineux is that he is not for sale, unless a replacement can be found before the deadline. The 24-year-old is unlikely to feature against Everton due to what manager Vitor Pereira described as a minor injury. Speaking ahead of that match, Pereira stressed, "Every player has ambitions, but at this moment Jørgen belongs to us. He's working hard, has a great character, and despite a small injury, I hope he will play tomorrow. He's an important part of our team. And what happens before the deadline is not only down to me or him." Palace stand firm over Graham, while Crystal Palace manager Oliver Glasner has delivered a firm response regarding Mark Gay's future. Liverpool have been pushing to sign the centre-back before Monday's deadline, but Glasner has made it clear the deal is off the table. The 25-year-old, fresh from lifting both the FA Cup and Community Shield as captain, has attracted major interest from Anfield. Yet talks between the two clubs have stalled, with Palace unwilling to lower their valuation. Gay has continued to feature for the Eagles, even helping them qualify for the group stage of the UEFA Europa Conference League on Thursday. Glasner confirmed he expects Gay to lead his side out against Aston Villa this weekend, emphasizing the defender's irreplaceable role. We all know how vital Mark is. It's Friday. The window closes Monday, and at this point, he simply has to stay. Finding a replacement capable of stepping straight into the Premier League at his level is practically impossible, Glasner told Sky Sports News. He highlighted Palace's defensive strength as their foundation, adding that Gay is central to that stability. While acknowledging the player's professionalism, Glasner admitted that if Gay runs down his contract without renewing, he may eventually depart on a free transfer in 2026. For now, Palace are standing firm, meaning Liverpool will likely have to wait until next summer or beyond to land the England international. Liverpool midfielder James McConnell has sealed a season-long loan move to Ajax, while also committing his future to the Reds with a brand new 5-year contract. The 20-year-old agreed fresh terms at Anfield that will tie him to the club until the summer of 2030. McConnell has steadily risen through Liverpool's youth ranks, becoming one of the standout academy graduates in recent years. He has already featured 13 times for the first team, chipping in with 1 assist. But a lack of regular opportunities this campaign meant a temporary exit became the sensible option. By heading to Amsterdam, McConnell will reunite with former Liverpool assistant John Heidinga, who is now in charge at Ajax, as well as goalkeeper Vidislav Jaros, another Red out on loan. The switch gives him the chance to broaden his football education in the Eredivisie and in European competition, an experience that should fast-track his development. Arne Slot, despite being impressed by McConnell, could not realistically promise him sustained minutes this year. A loan therefore makes perfect sense, allowing him to sharpen his craft at a high level before returning next summer as a more seasoned player, potentially ready to stake a bigger claim in slot squad. Meanwhile, RB Leipzig are intensifying their pursuit of Harvey Elliott, with Xavi Simons leaving for Tottenham in a €60 million deal plus €5 million in add-ons. The Bundesliga side are actively hunting for a creative replacement. Leipzig are exploring a loan agreement with a purchase option for Elliott, though no formal bid has yet been lodged. From Elliott's perspective, things are becoming more complicated. The winger has always maintained that Liverpool is his club, and he once envisioned spending his best years at Anfield. But reduced playing time under Slot has raised questions about his immediate role, leaving the doors slightly ajar for Leipzig's approach. Liverpool, however, remain reluctant to entertain talks until their own forward line has been reinforced elsewhere. Kostas Tsimikas is set to join as Roma on loan for the 2025-26 campaign, after being granted permission to undergo his medical in Italy. While Liverpool had initially hoped for a permanent sale, they eventually agreed to a straight loan that will see Roma cover his full wages, saving the Reds around £75,000 per week. Tsimikas, now 29, has fallen down the pecking order behind Andy Robertson and summer arrival Milos Kerkez, leaving him out of slot squads for the opening league matches and the Community Shield. A move to Serie A could therefore be the ideal reset, offering him the chance to play regularly again. Roma, now led by Gianpiero Gasperini following Claudio Ranieri's shift into a senior advisory role, could benefit greatly from the Greek defender's attacking qualities on the left flank. Gasperini arrives with an impressive resume, having guided Atalanta to the 2024 Europa League title, including a 3-0 victory over Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen in the final, and a famous quarter-final triumph over Klopp's Liverpool. For Tsimikas, Italian football's slower tempo might prove a better fit, while for Liverpool, the move offers financial relief and squad clarity. When Kostas Tsimikas returns to Merseyside next summer, Liverpool are expected to once again place him on the transfer market, aiming to recoup as much as possible of the £11.75 million fee paid to Olympiacos back in 2020. Meanwhile, attention has shifted to Crystal Palace captain Mark Gay, who remains a major target for Liverpool before the transfer window closes. Palace manager Oliver Glasner has been firm in his stance, stressing that Gay must stay at Selhurst Park, because finding a suitable replacement at this stage would be almost impossible. Liverpool are preparing an offer exceeding £30 million, after Gay played a pivotal role in helping Palace secure Europa Conference League place. According to the Guardian's Ed Aarons, Palace have already drawn up a short list of potential replacements, including Manchester City's Manuel Akanji and Monaco's Mohamed Salisu. Despite that, Glasner doubled down on his insistence ahead of Sunday's clash with Aston Villa, underlining Gay's importance not just as a defender, but as a leader. From my side, it's Friday and the window shuts on Monday. He has to stay, Glasner told reporters. You can't simply go out and replace Mark Gay at this stage. To bring in someone who can immediately step into the Premier League, be consistent, and hold down a starting role, it's close to impossible.